There we go.
Okay.
It'll work there.
We have YouTube a go. So I just absolutely love it when a plan comes together because the entire reason that we started doing live on here is because we did not want people to have to drive out at nighttime when it was like possibly bad weather or the weather can shift at any point. Also, if there was bad weather and we don't have to cancel, like we don't have to worry about it. So we can literally sit in the comfort of our homes and we don't have to cancel Bible study and nobody is putting their life at risk out driving.
That's right.
So wouldn't you know, here it is Tuesday and it's bad weather and we are under a winter storm warning again. Again. So like I said, I love it when a plan comes together. How are you guys out there? I see a few people popping on. Are you guys enjoying? What about last night? That high wind advisory? Oh my goodness, that wind was crazy last night.
Anybody else get the high wind that we got? Hi, Liza.
Hi, Liza.
So, Liza, you could comment right on the live stream, and we will see everything that you're saying. Oh, you're on Facebook, right? Liza, if you're on YouTube, I got it set up so you guys can comment on YouTube now, too. So if you want to hop on there, I'm just trying to get our live feed up for the church so I can see it on the laptop.
Fantastic. Yeah, I actually got stuck in my driveway today and I could not make it in for meetings. So I actually had to do everything on virtual today. So
hi, Peggy.
I am super thankful for having the online platform. I see a bunch of you guys jumping on now. How is the view on YouTube?
Whoever's watching YouTube.
How is the view on YouTube? Because as I'm looking on YouTube, it looks like we're cut off. So I just want to check and see. I see a bunch more people jumping on. I was just saying I absolutely love it when a plan works out. We decided to go live on Tuesday nights for Bible study because of the weather, because we didn't want to be constantly canceling. And we didn't want to be putting people at risk driving in because of, weather can shift very quickly. So I just love it. Last Tuesday was absolutely horrible weather and we got to have Bible study, and today is not the best weather, and apparently we are under a winter storm warning tonight. My daughter actually FaceTimed me just as we were about to go live.
Okay, Liza said it looks good on her side, and she's on YouTube now. So we see the comments coming in for
okay,
YouTube.
Perfect. So you can see us on the YouTube. Awesome. They actually got stranded down in the Philadelphia airport because of the weather. Because she said supposedly they're flying into Watertown. Our weather up here is really bad, or it's getting really bad. So I absolutely love that we can be online. I was saying I had to switch all of my meetings today, all my appointments today, to online. So I'm very thankful for that technology. So how are you guys doing? How are you doing, Peggy, Crystal, JD, Stacy? I saw you were on there. How's everybody doing tonight? And did everybody read week 3?
Week 3. I should not feel this way.
Can you believe? Oh, and I actually brought the book. I wanted to show you guys. This is what the study we're doing is this Dr. Allison Cook, and it comes from direct excerpts out of this book. So this is actually what the book looks like. It is absolutely amazing. She has written 4 or 5 books, and I have read all of them.
Hey, JD.
And I absolutely love them. So I highly recommend them. Buy them. Check them out at the library.
Liza said she read it as well.
Read them up. Okay, good.
So everybody's doing their homeworks.
Their homeworks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I got stuck in my driveway today. Barry had to come home from work and get us plowed out really quick before we dropped online. This is why his hair is looking a little rough. I said, make sure you do your hair. Yeah. Hi, Destiny.
She got stuck in the driveway when I came home and drove it right out of the driveway.
You got my car right out of the driveway when you got home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
I
pull
guess
it
there's
forward.
something wrong with me. I'm stupid. I don't know. Because
You're
I
not stupid.
I
Stop
tried
it.
and tried to get it out and I couldn't. And if you did it that quickly, then there's something wrong with me, I guess.
No, nothing wrong with you.
Well, how'd you get it out so quickly?
Just rock back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I don't know. Hi, Tanya. How are you? I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you're doing well.
Oh, hey, Tanya. So, guys, we got the comments up on YouTube and we got the comments up on Facebook Live. So I can interact with everybody. I cannot chat with you on Facebook Live yet. KJ said hi on YouTube. Hi, KJ. How you doing?
You can't chat on Facebook Live
No,
yet?
I got to get signed in. And I don't want to sign out and sign back in. And then, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I was trying to get you to do it earlier.
I know. But I didn't think I had to sign in, so.
Okay, all right. Well, you guys know us. We are always very transparent, you know. We will let you know.
We will let you know our mess.
I was telling you to do it like 15 minutes earlier.
Right, but I didn't know that I had to be signed in to YouTube. I'm getting them all confused now because we got so many going on.
Which one? If you guys
YouTube.
could see our setup, we have like 4 screens going, but this is actually awesome. We actually absolutely love doing this. It's a little confusing trying to figure out YouTube and trying to figure out who I'm looking at. So
Hi, Kristen.
Be patient with us. So, anyways, okay. So, what did you guys think about this week? What she had to say this week about comparison? Does anybody have any thoughts or comments before we jump right into it? Anybody want to admit to struggling with comparison sometimes? I think it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I think we very naturally and easily can kind of go into comparison.
Yeah, back in the day, we used to call it keeping up with the Joneses. You know,
Yeah.
your neighbor gets something new, you got to get something new, and
Yeah.
you know, led to a lot of financial ruin of people
And
trying to keep up.
And I think it happens in more than just the financial area, the comparison. I think nowadays with social media, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, comparison is even more insidious because it goes into all aspects of our lives as we watch people literally live their lives online.
And I think the bad thing about it is, where it really hurts people, is that you only see the good.
Yeah.
A lot of people only post the good.
Yep.
You don't really see what their struggles are or what the bad is that's going on there.
Yes, JD, comparing yourself to others, comparing your situation to others. Somebody said, yeah, a lot. JD, yeah, I compare a lot. Yeah. So I wanted to...
Crystal said I was like this a lot when I was younger, especially with my children.
You mean comparing motherhood? Comparing like whether you were to other mothers and what they did? Go ahead and answer that, Crystal. Anybody else that wants to chime in at any point? Hi, Ann. Chime in. Barry is going to be really trying to pay attention to comments. I am going to be trying to ignore comments. I'm terrible at it.
I think I could turn the comments off here so you can't see them.
Oh, that would be awesome.
There you go.
But can you still see them?
I can see them over here.
Okay, so he made it so that I cannot see comments, which is perfect. And he will be. So for those of you that don't know, this
Liza
series
said she
that we're
does
teaching is on mental health. And that is absolutely my wheelhouse. I know there's a lot of new viewers on here that weren't here the first week. And also, you know, we used to go live every week in COVID 4 or 5 years ago, and you don't know our histories. So I will just share with you, you know, mental health issues, helping Christians with mental health issues. That is my wheelhouse. It's my passion in life. I think a lot of times we do the church, the Big C Church does a disservice to the mental health world, the mental health field, to Christians with their mental health. There's a lot of spiritual bypass that happens. There's a lot of dismissal that happens. There's a lot of shame in the church if you struggle with anything. Or if any part of your life falls short, or if you, you know, I've talked about how we try to, you know, if if you struggle with jealousy, or if you struggle with envy, or and even getting more real, addiction, pornography, those things. So we're so taught to only present the false face, the perfect face. I love Jesus, so I have it all together, and it's just so not true. Okay, loving Jesus makes it easier. I honestly, I say all the time, I don't know how people do this life without knowing Jesus and without loving Jesus. So that is my passion in life, is helping Christians get free and realizing that there is an absolute supernatural component to it, but there's also a very practical, real component to it. So I could teach and talk and preach on this all day long, but I wanted to open up with the scripture. It's actually one of my favorite scriptures. And I will tell you guys personally, I used to struggle with comparison horribly. And honestly, I will tell you, and I'm very real, I'm very transparent, as a pastor, as a mental health counselor, as a coach. I am very honest and open with people. I will always share with you what I've been through. And so I can tell you, Barry and I, our priority, our value, our guiding light has always been family and family first. We spent 22 years in the Army, and he was never home for our children. He was always, he was in Iraq 500 times. He had an address. He got more mail in Iraq than he did at home in the U.S. And so when he got out, we said, family, time with family and freedom is our number one guiding principle. And because of that, we have chosen we have not financially, we are not as, skyrocketed as we could be, because we have chosen that it is most important to be home, to be together, to be with our kids, to be present. Now, if you are a person who works 60, 80 hours a week, or careers your number one, that doesn't speak anything to you. Okay, this is just our guiding principle. And so for years, it was a struggle watching other people skyrocket in their finances and seemingly have absolutely no issues, while we lived on a budget. And I had to constantly remind myself, wait a minute, this is what God has called us to.
This is the decision we made.
This is the decision we made. This is who we are. And we have constantly reviewed that. Do we want to change that? So I will tell you, we have struggled with comparison in areas. And honestly, it is a little crazy. I've talked through this with my pastor of like, there isn't even really a struggle. Okay, so this is what's really insidious about comparison. There really isn't even a struggle in our life financially. We travel when we want to travel. We have a beautiful home. Bills are always paid. We save. We have IRAs. We provide, but comparison is so insidious, because you look on Facebook, you look on Instagram, you look at what other people are doing, and it tells you a story that is honestly a lot of times a lie, and you don't know. And so I would be so struggling with that comparison. And I can honestly say I've worked through it. God has shown me my path is my path, and who we are is who we are.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't think that we ever could choose
a different life.
I don't know.
Or not a different life, but
a different way of being, a different way of living, in order to keep up with.
Yeah, no, because if we did that, we would have to give up everything
that was so important to us. Yeah. So that little story is just to be very real with you, that when I teach you and I talk about comparison, been there, done that, not healthy. There is freedom. You got to work in your mind. Everything begins in the mind. And this scripture, I wanted to open with this scripture. She did put it in the study this week, and it's one of my favorite scriptures. But this really set me free when I was in some of my deepest struggles in comparison, okay? And it's 2 Corinthians 10:12. I need readers old. And it says, of course, we wouldn't dare put ourselves in the same class or compare ourselves to those who rate themselves so highly. Do y'all know anybody that rates themselves so highly? Well, what Paul's saying is I wouldn't even begin to play that game. That's what he's saying. They compare themselves to one another Okay? And they make up their own standards to measure themselves by. They make up their own standards to measure themselves by. And then they judge themselves by their own standards. What a self-delusion. Okay, so pretty much Paul is calling them out right there and saying, society is making up these crazy rules. Okay, now this is Ray's words here, okay? I like to make things just very understandable. Okay? They're making up these crazy rules, these crazy ways you have to live, these things you have to do in order to be enough. And then they're competing and comparing with each other. And then they're judging themselves by their own standards. And he says, it's absolute ridiculousness and craziness. What society does that sound like to you guys? What society does that sound like to you?
It sounds like the society we live in right now.
It sounds like the society, right. And so he says, what self-delusion? It is a delusion. It's absolutely delusion. And it was people, the poor were being taken advantage of. The less fortunate were being taken advantage, the widows were being taken advantage of, okay? And we see that happening a lot. How many of you know, right? And it is not just the uber rich out there. How many of you know people who just take advantage of the poor, take advantage of the less fortunate, cheat the system, right? Lie, steal, in order to be enough or meet some mark out there. That all stems from comparison and using an unholy and constant moving mark to try to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So when I was in prayer, like talking to God about all this, what I heard and I wrote, and I love this, and it says, or what God said, and when I wrote, it said, if the enemy can keep you focused on someone else's journey, he has succeeded. Okay? So if the enemy can keep you focused, keep me focused on someone else, what someone else is doing, and on someone else's journey, he has succeeded. What does that mean?
It means he's keeping you from your calling.
Yeah.
What do you guys think that means?
Yeah.
Drop it in the comments what you think that means. If the enemy can keep you focused on someone else's journey, he has succeeded.
Mm-hmm. And so as you guys put in the comments some different, is the first people that God showed me that I saw David and Solomon. Right?
Solomon was always worried about what David was doing and what was going on.
Yes, and he was jealous of the accolades.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
He was focused. David was just being David. David was just living out his call. Right? And Solomon thought there was a lot more than just comparison going on. But he wanted to be more than David, better than David. He wanted people chanting in his name. He wanted to be the greater war hero, the greater king. He lost his mind. Have you ever felt like, and I'm being really real right here, have you ever felt like you were going to lose your mind trying to keep up with somebody else? In any area. How about Crystal brought up...
I missed a whole bunch of comments just because I was still in a different conversation with somebody else.
Okay, well, reply to them.
I'm working on it.
Reply to them. You know, it could be... Crystal mentioned her children. Comparing yourself to a different mother? How about ministries? Comparing yourself to other ministries.
I got one for you. Peggy dropped this.
Yeah.
Comparing yourself to your siblings. She said she had a sister when she was younger. That was the apple to her mom's eye.
Oh,
and that could be horrible because they might not even the sibling might not even realize it. You know, and each sibling's comparing themselves to each other, and you know they think, what am I doing wrong? How do I get mom's attention? And it's really nothing that they did wrong. It's something wrong with mom or dad.
Yeah. Or, mom didn't intend it.
Yeah, or mom didn't intend it.
I don't know.
Stacy said takes you away from your journey with God.
It does. Yes, Stacy, it takes you away from your journey for God. It absolutely steals the blessing that is in your life. Mm-hmm. When I was busy looking at so-and-so because, they did this, which to even talk to you guys about it right now sounds so stupid, honestly, because I have clarity now and I can see, but in the time it was awful and I've worked through this. But it was so awful. I would lose the joy and the gratitude and the thankfulness of how beautiful my life was. And so when you are looking at other people in regards to any area of life, you completely lose the joy that is in your own life. Everybody has some good in their life. Everybody is good at something. Everybody has a blessing somewhere. And the more you focus on those, the more they're going to grow. Where your attention goes, the energy flows. Okay? So it steals the joy of life. And yes, like Solomon, you could end up losing your mind. Did anybody comment? Does anybody ever feel, I'm saying Solomon. Saul.
Oh, yeah, Saul. I was trying to figure out what Peggy was talking about for a minute. And I was like, I didn't want to interrupt you real quick.
No, I wish you would have interrupted me. My gosh. Why in the world was I saying Solomon? I love me.
They both start with an S.
I don't know, but I absolutely love me. Thank you, Peggy, so much for putting me in this song. I could have got through the whole thing.
Just shows you we're not Bible scholars.
Oh my God. Did anybody else comment about, has anybody else ever felt like they were losing their mind?
Nobody's commented that yet.
In comparison. Okay, awesome. So, that being said, there are two types of comparison out there that I want to touch on. Okay. There is a constructive comparison. Okay? And honestly, guys, listen, if I misspeak, do not be afraid to comment in there and correct me. I am not a person that gets offended. I can misspeak all the time. It's okay. I am almost 50, so I am not perfect by any means. Thank you, Peggy, for letting me know I misspoke.
You don't look a day over 25.
See, now it makes me blush. Okay. So, do you want to talk about constructive comparison, or do you want me to? Because you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. So in constructive comparison, it can be when you look at another person and you see something that you really like about them, or you see somewhere that they are in their journey in an area, and you think, I want that. I want to be more like that. Or, oh, wow, that seems really amazing. I would like to, how did they do that? And you get curious about it, right? And maybe you talk to them, maybe you ask them, maybe you can go to the Lord and ask them, hey, would this be for me? And you use it in a positive way to propel yourself forward. Because honestly, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Right? So in order to know, you have to see it and you have to realize, oh, that is something that I would like. That is something that I want to do, or that would help me in my marriage or in my relationships or in my parenting. And so you use it in order to better yourself and to further you and your goals. And it leads to a feeling of empowerment, of growth. It leads to better success. It leads to more blessing. Okay. So that is the constructive comparison. For me, that happens a lot in the health and fitness world. I follow whatever it is that I am. So I used to be into running, and now I'm really into weightlifting. So I will follow people that are so far ahead of me, and I will watch them and I will learn from them, and then I will use it. But never will I go into, so an example of detrimental comparison. Okay, so we've got constructive comparison and detrimental. What?
I was talking to Tina. She said she agreed with you, and she said you guys are great. I was trying not to interrupt you.
Interrupt me, baby. Interrupt me. You've been interrupting me for 28 years. Why are you going to try and be nice now?
Tina's watching our YouTube channel.
So, hi, Tina. So, an example in that I was just giving you, real life example, I use health and fitness for constructive comparison. There is detrimental comparison. Now, if I looked at those accounts and then I saw in some of these women, they have got hours and hours, it's their full-time job to go lift weights. They compete in competitions. They take a lot of different supplements and hormones and just, things that I have no interest in, right? Things that I don't have time for, things God hasn't called me to. But if I looked at them and I looked at their health journey and I got beating myself up because I wasn't as fit as they are, as muscular as they are, I wasn't lifting as heavy as they are, that is detrimental. It starts taking away the blessing and the joy of where I am and where God has brought me. Mm-hmm. So that is the difference between the two. Detrimental comparison leads you to feeling disempowered, hopeless. It leads you to feeling bad about yourself.
Yep.
So just real quick, I love Graham Cook. He says, if you've not ever listened to him, go listen to him. But he says, in God, there is no negative, right? He's not going to put negative on you. So when you experience a negative,
it's not from God.
You got to take a look at that. That's not from God.
No.
Right?
Right.
So, detrimental comparison also leaves you feeling like I'm not good enough. I'm not a good enough, insert, good enough Christian, mom, wife, friend, pastor, whatever area that it might be. I don't make enough money. I'm not fit enough. Mm-hmm. Okay. That is the detrimental comparison. And it is so insidious and it is so tricky and harmful because for a couple of reasons, but because one, you don't really know what is going on in other people's lives, especially if it is on social media that you are comparing yourself to or your family to. You don't know what is really going on behind the scenes. You don't know what that person is going through. Also, you don't know what that person has done, what price they've paid, what work they've done. You don't know where God has called them. You don't know other areas that they really struggle in. You don't know any of the information. So you are writing your own story and frankly, we're making it up as we go. And our brain, our tendency is to not write kind stories towards ourselves.
No.
We have to work really hard to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Do you think, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
In certain times, do you think comparison can develop a codependency with that person that you're comparing with? Or lead to it? What do you guys think about that? Ooh, I got you going now.
So codependency is actually, I'm reading a lot on the subject right now. And so codependency is like not being complete without another person, not being able to separate yourself
from another person.
Originally it was, enabling bad behavior, and that is part of it. But we've learned that it's so much more. So in my unprofessional, unstudied opinion at this moment, I would say yes. Because if you are constantly comparing yourself to person A, mm-hmm. and then you're
to what they have
or what they do or how they are, and then mm-hmm. you are constantly
trying to change yourself to be like them.
you might begin to look to them and not be able to be complete just in yourself,
Right.
only in their
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know what you guys think.
What do you guys think about that?
Also, I'm going to sort of throw it out there. Like, codependency is something
Liza said yes. Too.
huge that I've been studying and reading about and learning about. I am thinking in the future maybe teaching on that. So let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. Not in this study, I don't think, but maybe when this one is over, I'm not sure. It's also very dangerous because the target is always moving. Okay? When you are comparing to someone else and you are not looking at God and what God has called you to and what he has for you, the target is always moving. It's a moving target. And for all of you people out there, imagine going to a shooting range and trying to hit a target that's moving.
I say it's easy, but...
Well, of course, because you were a sniper or whatever you were. But, for the average person, right? And also, it's just totally a perception.
Mm-hmm.
It is totally a perception. I can remember listening to Joyce Meyer one time, and she said, people...
Not Joyce Meyer.
Yeah. Okay, I'll use Pastor Jeremy. People saying, well, I want to be the pastor. I want what he has. You don't know I remember using the example. He comes in, he doesn't anymore, but at that time, he comes in and cleans the bathrooms because it needed to be done and there was no one else to do it. The things that he goes through, the meetings that he goes through, the schooling that he's had to go through, the political crap. Yes, I said crap that he has to put up with and deal with, and the decisions that he has to make, the kickbacks that he gets. People don't know what he goes through. I'm starting to learn.
We both are, yeah.
We're starting to learn some of what he goes through. But Joyce Meyer, saying, people would always say, I want to do what you will do, and I want to, and she'd say, you really want to do what I do? No, people look at the glorified picture.
Yes.
And they want to do that part. They don't want
to do the hard work that comes with it.
Exactly. And that is where comparison can be even more insidious.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to take a break for a minute and see if you have any comments you want to
do not have any
pick up or comments. Discuss.
Nope,
or...
I've been kind of replying as they come in.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is everything making sense, guys? Do you have any questions? I really do like Barry has turned off the commenting for me. I'm able to stay focused.
I just need you to focus on 2 cameras now, though. Because we're talking to Facebook up here, but yet YouTube down here too.
Okay.
So
hi, YouTube. Is everything making sense? Do you guys have any questions? Anything you want to put in? If anybody is brave enough and they want to put in, talk about maybe something what area they compare in, or maybe there's an area that people compare you to. Like, people look at you and they have detrimental comparison when they look at you or look at your life. If anybody wants to share. Liza said she would be interested in teaching. Okay, yep. Good. On codependency. Okay. So the question becomes, if we are not to look at society's crazy standards,
mm-hmm.
and if we're not to be looking at social media and looking all around and looking at our neighbors and looking at all the things, and we've talked about how dangerous it can be,
mm-hmm.
how it can be good, what are we to look at and what are we to use?
Well, there's only one standard we should be looking at, and that's God,
mm-hmm.
or his word.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what we should be using.
Okay, so she talks about plumb line.
Plumb line, yes.
Which I had no idea what a plumb line was.
I had to kind of explain it to her and walk her through it.
So tell us a little bit, tie it in a little bit.
Who knows what a plumb line is, first of all? If you know what a plumb line is, throw a little hands up in the comment.
I'm going to guess if Joe is on.
Joe, JD might know what it is.
Or Bill is on.
Yep.
They're going to know.
Yep.
But go ahead and...
So a plumb line is something that's used in construction, painting. It's to give you a straight line. And the definition she gave was a magnetic piece of magnetic metal, but it's not always magnetic. We in the Army we used to use one, and it's just a string that hangs straight down. There's a piece of metal with a point on the end of it. Picture a round cylinder or something like that.
Okay.
And it points straight down. So when you need to find the center or something or mark a straight line, you just hang it, and it hangs straight up and down, kind of like a pendulum would look.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, it would hang just like a pendulum straight up and down like this.
So what was it used for, though?
It was used for keeping a straight line.
Okay. So God is our plumb line?
God is our plumb line.
Bada bing! There we go. You say I have a lot of words. You got a lot of words,
That
bro.
wasn't a lot of words.
That was a lot of words.
Okay, I've used up all my words for the day. Men only speak 500 words a day.
Plumb
Women
line.
have to speak 100 million.
Plumb line. Okay. We're not looking at our neighbors. We're not looking at the people around us. We're not looking at the people in church to decide what it is that we are supposed to be doing or how we're supposed to live. I absolutely know that we have been taught this in our pews our entire lives, but you have to look to God and God alone to be your plumb line to tell you where you are supposed to be.
And you think about that straight center. And she used the verse in Amos, and I don't remember the address of it.
Oh, I don't remember either.
If you look at your app, it's right there. And, they said God put a plumb line.
Yes, to
He
keep
said
the
on
people.
plumb line.
Yes.
And, you're swaying way over here. You're not keeping that straight line where you should have the straight line between me and you. And if you sway and he said the people are swaying to the left and to the right of that plumb line.
Yes. So you need to be looking at God and God alone. Think of it as he's your magnet. He's the one that keeps you on course. He's the one that keeps you straight. You don't need to be going to your pastor let me correct myself. Absolutely. Go to your pastor to talk, okay, to have counsel, to get wisdom, to see if they've walked through. Go to your, obviously use people to talk to, but you have to be the one that decides. You have to be the one that takes every thought captive. When you begin to look at other people and you see what they're doing or what they have and you think, I want that or I want to do that, that mark, like I said, it will lead to insanity. You got to look. What's our word for the year at Mercy Point Church? Up. You have to look up. And you have to ask God and you have to say, is that for me? Can I use that? Do you want me going this way? That is the only way you will keep your mental health in check. Mm-hmm. And know where you are supposed to be. And then you got to lay that down. You have to lay that down. That thing, that whatever it is, you got to lay it down, okay? And then you got to begin to focus on, like I've said this 100 times tonight, you got to focus on the good that is already in your life. You got to focus on how far you have come. Mm-hmm. You've got to focus on the blessings and the favor in your life. Maybe you are superior, superb, number one, Martha Stewart, baker, whatever. Maybe that's you, but you can't keep a clean house. Okay. You don't need to be looking at, Miss Susie Clean over there. You need to know that's not my strength. I do the best I can, and that's okay, and come at peace. We used to talk about that all the time. Do you remember? I tried so hard to be Susie. I hate cooking. I hate cooking. And the church, Big C Church, taught me I am supposed to be, because I'm the wife and I'm the woman, I am supposed to be the baker and the bread maker and the cook and have these big... And that is such a lie from the pit of hell that keeps women trapped in cycles.
I love cooking.
Absolutely. He loves cooking.
So and there's nothing meals.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And I had to step out from underneath that. Stop comparing myself to other people who did that and love that. It's not me. And you have to do the same. So you find yourself in comparison, you find yourself going down a spiral. Mm-hmm. What do? What's your first step? What's the first thing? Do you need to see my notes? I'll let you cheat.
You need to acknowledge it.
You need to acknowledge it. Don't try to deny it. Don't think, oh, that's sinful. I'm going to ignore it. Remember what I've been teaching you guys? It doesn't go away when you just ignore it. I'm not saying you act on it, but you have to what?
Acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it. Acknowledge, oh, there is, and I love the way Dr. Allison Cook says it. She calls it the inner critic. Acknowledge, oh, there's that inner critic telling me I'm not a good enough blank.
Insert your title.
Whatever it is. Acknowledge it. And then what do you need to do?
Don't deny it.
That's part of acknowledge it.
You have to name it.
Name it. Name what it is that you're wanting or you think that you're wanting. Speak it out loud. The enemy loves
confusion.
Darkness. Bring it into the light. I don't know.
We're rolling tonight, guys.
I don't know the difference between Saul and Solomon, and he doesn't know anything. I'm just kidding. Okay, acknowledge it.
And then you have to question it.
Yes. Acknowledge it. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Or I always feel your feelings. Name it. Mm-hmm. Name what it is, what the area is. Name it out loud, okay? And then question it.
Oh, man.
Why? Why am I feeling this way? Why do I want that? What is it about them? Or what is it about the situation? You know, what is it that's causing these feelings in me?
Oh, so Stacy asks, I missed it because I was back on another conversation. She said she would like to learn more about codependency. It always seems to be discussed in a negative way. Can it be healthy?
Codependency?
Yeah.
I don't see a healthy way that people could be codependent. Even in marriage, I don't think it's healthy.
No.
Again,
I will tell you. You said you don't think. We know it's not healthy in a marriage.
No. We're one.
I want you to think about all those 500 million times I spent in Iraq. Were you able to be codependent on me, or did you have to be your own person? You had to be mom and dad at that point.
I at this moment, Stacy, I can't really think of a way. But Stacy, if you're still on, if you know of a way that, or if you have heard of a way that it could be healthy, can you put it in the comments? Because I would love to read that. I'd love to read what you have to say, though. I'd love to read that person and just kind of see if I've heard it before or read it before.
Peggy said Jesus is the standard.
Jesus is the standard.
I missed all these comments, and I'm sorry.
Jesus is the plumb line. He's fired. Tell him he's fired.
And Peggy said God doesn't want us to compare with others as he created us and has a special plan for our life.
It is. It's for our life. Up. Yes, Crystal said up.
And Donna said hello. Hi,
absolutely. And so something to really take a look at that I have found really helps me and it's helped others is to ask yourself the question, what is it that I really want? What am I wanting? And I want to give you an example in this, okay? Say you are feeling very bad about yourself in you see your neighbors traveling and going on vacation all the time. Let's do that one, okay? And you want to be traveling like they do. You want to go on vacation like they do. Mm-hmm. Really question yourself. And I'm just picking random topics here, but why? What is it that I'm wanting? Am I really wanting to go away somewhere else? There's a lot that goes into it. You've got to pack up your house. You got to pack. You've got to get plane tickets. You've got to prepare the car. You've got to take care of the animals. You've got to find a place. You've got to, food. There's a lot that goes into a vacation. It's a lot of work. And then when you come back, there's a lot of work. Is it that you really want to go away? Or is it that you're seeking something else? Is it that you just want the undivided attention between you and your family members and no other distractions? Is it just connection that you want with your family? You know, is it that you just need to do something different?
Oh.
You know, you're bored in life and you just want to do something different. You want a little different routine, you know? Or is it that you want those vacations just to look good? Just to look like, wait, where are you going?
I'm right here. I'm coming. I just set something down.
Just to look like you have as much or can do as much as your neighbor. You know, this can apply to any situation where you are comparing yourself and wanting what somebody else has. Is really question what is at the root of what you're wanting. And a lot of times you will find that it is an emotional need of some sort that can be met in a completely different way.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it, you know, like with us, you know, you say, like, I really want that. And I'd be like, but why? You know, or you would be like that with me. And you'd be like, but why?
Mm-hmm.
And really, if you have a really healthy relationship with your partner, you know, they'll make you step back and ask, or they'll ask that why question,
Mm-hmm.
and really make you step back and examine, well, why do I want that? Do I want it because they have it?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I want it because I really want to enjoy it? Or, you know what I mean?
Yep. You know, that really, guys, I know there's a lot. I think most of you that I've interacted with tonight, your moms and dads, same thing. When you look at other relationships and you begin to compare and feel disempowered and feel like you're not going to ever be as good, or, you know, and so they're doing this with their kids, so I want to, you know, what is the root of that? Is it that you want to, you know, put your kid in every sport and go to, or is it that you just want to connect with your kid? You know, or is it you want to spend more time with your kid? Are you put the work into you and what you have in your relationships, in your life, and what God has called you to do, and the fruit that will come from it is amazing.
Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be talking.
Oh, hi, Sandy. I was talking about Joe earlier. I was saying if he was on, Barry asked if anybody knew what a plumb line was. And I said, if Joe is on, I'm sure he probably knows what it is, you know? So again, when you find yourself comparing and feeling disempowered and it's not a constructive comparison, what is it that you are really wanting? And a lot of times the answer is not the thing that you're wanting to do. There is a simpler answer out there, but it begins with asking the questions. So, and then from there, you know, you've acknowledged it, you've named it, you've asked questions, then you can begin to shift your thoughts, and you can begin to take any actions from there. You know, look up at God and look inward at yourself. And then you can begin, and a lot of times when I do this work with people, they actually will lay down whatever it was that they were comparing, and they realized that it was nothing but being it was a superficial one. It wasn't God calling them.
No,
it wasn't God telling them.
It was something fleshly.
And you know, I want to just say this too, just in case somebody needs to hear this.
Oh,
it's okay to absolutely suck at some things.
Kristen said, a tough comparison is comparing our kids to other kids, grades, athletics, etc.
Absolutely, because you know what? Some of the most intelligent, the most successful billionaires in the world, Kristen, did not go to college. Did not go to college. Did not get D1 athletic scholarships. Oh, my Lord. If that is not the biggest thing in this area
for 8-year-olds,
is that my 8-year-old is going to play D1 and they're going to go to college free.
There's
right?
going to be recruiters here in the stands next week watching them.
Yes.
Woo!
Absolutely. So maybe what your child is destined to do is completely different than that. And God has a plan that is so much bigger and better than following societal pressure, standards, and norms.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was a great example, Kristen. That one did not pop into my head. Oh, Sandy said we both do. Of course you do too, Sandy. I love it. So you have to look up at God and you got to look inward.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know what God has called. And maybe you don't know what God has called you to. You don't know where God is leading you. And sometimes that can open up a conversation between you and God, you and your spouse, you and your family. Hey guys, I'm watching so-and-so go on vacation all the time. Or, hey guys, I see the relationship between so-and-so. How do you feel? What do you think? What are your thoughts? What do you want? Your kids will shock you with the simplicity of what they want. What they really want is just time with you. They do not need a perfect parent. They just need a present parent, a parent who cares, a parent who shows up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up.
Yep.
I mean, that is our mantra at church is, oh, I just said mantra. That is our mantra at church is our leaders are not perfect. They're real. That's it. Because everybody struggles with these things. Everybody does. Absolutely, at one point 100%. Or another.
Yeah.
How are we doing? We're coming towards the end of time, but how are we doing over there? Do we have anything? Nope. Have we missed
Kristen
any comments?
Was the last one. No, I got it.
Okay. I'm sorry we're ending Sandy and Joe and Donna and Donna.
Sandy said yes.
Maybe you guys can go back and
that's why I said they can always go back and rewatch.
Yeah, and watch from the beginning. I'm sorry. We do have to end. Go ahead, honey. Sorry, that was my foster son wanting to eat again. What was I saying? Oh yeah, we do have to end right at 7-ish on Tuesdays because Barry has to go get our son from wrestling. Practice. But a big question that I want to present to you guys, and I will tell you that this was absolutely eye-opening to Barry and I when we got out of the Army, and it is pretty powerful. And so I want to just read it to you guys and ponder it and
drop it in the comments, or you can either answer it in the comments or you can come back next week and tell us about it
if you want to. Deeply personal. But what I wanted to offer to you guys to ask yourselves, do it in your journal time, your prayer time, your quiet time, is, and I may even type it up in the comments so that you guys have it because it's very powerful. But ask yourself, am I living the life that I want? Am I living the life that I am called to by God? Or am I living what others say is life?
Oh, is that 2 Corinthians scripture?
Or am I living what I think others will think is a good life? Okay? I really want you just to examine that, different areas in your life. And none of this is for condemnation. This is just to begin a conversation and an examination.
A self-examination.
Yeah. And it can relieve so many burdens, and it can open eyes, and it can cause people to lay down so many things that are stressing them out that they don't even want in their life. But they're doing it because they think
they have to.
Other people will think it's
cool.
Great.
Right.
So am I living the life that I want, that I am called to by God? Or am I living a life of what others say is a good life, or what I think others will think is a good life? So, just a question for self-examination this week.
I'll have you pop that in the comments over here.
I will. I'll pop that in the comments. So,
and you guys can comment on it.
What is Jonathan?
He said, I have ADHD. Can I get this in writing? No joke. Those questions. Yeah, Jonathan, we're going to put it in the comments here. Reagan's going to type it up and put it in the comments.
Absolutely.
Actually, I can do it right now.
Yeah, you want to type it in? Yeah. Sandy said that's eye-opening. Which part, Sandy? The question, or... I'm just hanging out. We got a few minutes. I want to spend every minute with you guys.
So what's this?
Oh, let me go turn that off. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Am I living the life that
called by God to?
That I want and that I am called by God to? Or am I living a life that others say is life? Or am I living a life based on what I think?
Slow down there, Sparky.
Okay. Did Sandy answer? Yes, it is Sandy, absolutely. You know, and it can be scary because part of what, you know, and I'm not going to open up a whole nother theological, but, you know, part of that is it's ingrained in us. Grow up, go to college, get married, have kids, raise your kids, go on vacation once a year. They need to play sports. They need to be musical. They need to go to church every Sunday. Like it's just this plethora and this list. It's just absolutely exhausting. Be the PTA mom, be the volunteer, always show up. You know, we're taught these things, Sandy. And a lot of times that is not what God has even called you to. And people end up in marriages that God never intended because it's just on us, like to get married by a certain age and have children by a certain age. And you have to do this. And so people rush into these marriages, or they rush into having children, or they just they go to college and go into thousands of dollars of debt because they're taught this is what I have to do.
Yep.
And when you find yourself really sad and frustrated and unfulfilled, you know, and it's not hopeless. Okay. If you find yourself like in these areas that it's like, this is not what I ever wanted. You know, God is a God of miracles.
100%.
You know, God can restore. God can change. God can take anything and turn it around when we give it to him. So,
right.
Did you get that all?
I did.
Yes, because everyone is doing it. Absolutely, Sandy.
All right, guys. So we are going to get ready to hop off here. Listen, if you're enjoying this Bible study, make sure you come back next week.
Share.
Go to the
it.
Facebook church's Facebook
this
page.
This is open to anybody. They do not have to go to our church.
For everybody on YouTube, I believe you can share it as well. Yep. I'm still learning YouTube, so.
Yep.
But yeah, share this Bible study so it gets out. These words get out to everybody. I think this week especially was really important for everybody to hear. All right.
And honestly, not a lot of people, but a handful of people have messaged me with questions. It's totally okay.
Yeah.
You can message me and I will respond to you. So I'm usually working for church Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then part on Wednesdays. So I will completely answer you, get back as soon as I can.
Right.
So we love you guys.
We love you guys. Remember church this Sunday at 10.
Have an amazing week.
And we hope to see everybody back here next Tuesday at 6. We love you guys. Have an amazing week. And have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you all Sunday, if not Sunday, next Tuesday.
Love you.